Hey, hey everybody. Happy Saturn Pluto conjunction. It's finally happened. We've been waiting since Saturn ingressed into Capricorn in December 2017. So it's been two quite what would be the word? It's been two quite difficult years. Saturn is the great malefic. He plays with our minds. He rejoices in the hemisphere of the mind and the psyche. So it's likely that in the past 2 years you've really had to ponder your life in a very intense and concentrated way. We would have been looking at boundary setting, where there's slippage in our boundaries, whether we're being true to ourselves, and depending on where Capricorn is in your chart, so where Saturn lay. For me personally, it's hit the 11th house, which is the house of groups, communities, social networking, and I can tell you it's that tension between Saturn there in Capricorn and the house opposite, which is Cancer for me. Which is Cancer in the 5th for me. It's been a huge tension between my, what I put out into the world and feeling comfortable in the world, and sort of recognizing how I'm perceived, or how I feel as though I'm being perceived in the world. It's been a big learning curve. So that said, I thought that at this time of the conjunction, I'd do a little exercise with you guys where we choose a bundle and we look. Each bundle has 3 cards from the UUSI Tarot. I've only chosen to use the Major Arcana because I think this would be a nice time to look at some overarching themes, some sort of archetypal energies that are happening at this conjunction. So I've shuffled the deck, laid out 3 cards for each pile, past, present, future for each pile. So go ahead and choose one. I'll put a timestamp down the bottom, so you can just skip ahead to your bundle. And let's get started reading. We'll start with pile 1. Oh, I'm just going to stretch my legs out because I'm old. Okay, let's go. We're in pile 1. The Lovers. Seeker. This is a card that's specific to the UUSI deck, and I really love it. And Death. Transformation. Alright, so the Lovers. So since December 2017, Saturn's been asking you to look at how you love yourself and how you perceive yourself in the reflection of other people that you're intimate with or that you have some kind of a relationship with. So perhaps if Saturn's been hitting your 5th house of children, you've been looking at or thinking about how you see yourself in your children, and is that an accurate reflection? Is it a positive reflection? Is it a negative reflection? Is it something that you feel as though you can live with the rest of your life, or is it something that you need to change? Perhaps Saturn's been hitting your 7th house of relationships. Do you see yourself in your partner? And how does your partner reflect back who you are to you? Does your partner's your partner's values and morals and hobbies, and do they sort of reflect back who you see yourself as? Do they align with you? Are they coherent with who you think you are? Or do you think that, have you been thinking that perhaps your partner isn't really showing you who you think you are? This card is more than just about you're going to go out and meet somebody and it's going to be beautiful. It's about thinking about when you do align with somebody, when you are attracted to somebody, what is it in that person that you're attracted to? And is that something that you value in yourself, or is that something that doesn't seem quite right with yourself? Is it something that you want to overcome, or something that you want to encourage? So yeah, since December 2017, that's what Saturn's been asking you to think about, and that's likely what you've been pondering. Now, present at the conjunction, we're looking at otherworldly experiences, not just otherworldly in kind of a literal sense, but we're looking deeply into different dimensions, different realms of being, different ways of thinking, really archetypal, sort of mystical and really transformative energies, which is very pertinent given the Pluto influence in this conjunction. So what is it that you've learned about yourself through your relationships that's led you to this deep desire or compulsion to explore different potentialities, not just within yourself, but within the universe as a whole? And what can this bring to you? What kind of exciting sort of taboo or just the metaphysical ideas, and how can that expand you, and how can that best serve you and reflect how you see yourself and the kind of person who you want to sort of step into and inhabit as you pass through this conjunction. And as Saturn's actually nearly about to make his way out of his home in Capricorn and into his second home in Aquarius, which is a very different kind of energy. And so what do you want to learn to take into that Aquarian energy? And then we have the future. We've got death, and death is he's such a liberating card, because he's giving us this opportunity to really just cut something off. So whatever you find out here about yourself and about other people reflected in yourself, here's the opportunity to step in and just like cut that down if it's not serving you. Just trim it away, be done with it, and then it doesn't exist anymore. Cut those karmic ties and step into this beautiful new future. This is a lovely progression from this truly sort of like deeply reflective energy to this really expansive, transformative, potential-laden energy into something that's going to truly transform, because you're just going to just cut it off. You don't need to take it forward anymore, whether it's a person, an idea, a philosophy, a habit. It doesn't need to be part of you anymore. You have the opportunity to create your own reality, and that's what you can look forward to. So that is bundle A, or 1, which is really lovely. Bundle 2, which was this guy. What do we got? High Priestess. So you've been pondering, contemplating your feminine energy. The Hermit. And she wants you to light your own way in life, and the Sun, and illuminate this beautiful future for yourself and other people. So this is actually quite interesting, because Saturn's like about as old, manly, miserly kind of energy as you can get. So since December 2017, you've probably had this really tense, December 2017, you've had this really tense energy pull between your feminine, intuitive, righteous self, whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Your feminine, intuitive, righteous self, there's been this pull between that and this sort of like overlay of the patriarchal realm. This card wants you to, she's asking you to look at our place as natural beings in the cosmic order. Look at your power and stand within your power. And for some people, this is really difficult. It's really frightening. I know that for me, it has been really frightening to come to terms with not just having power, but figuring out how to actually direct that power. Because if you don't know how to direct it, you can cause havoc, and you can do that really unknowingly. It's not your intention, but it just, if you have that kind of energy and it's just coming out of you all over the shop, you can create havoc. So this card, she's serene, she's in charge of herself, she's righteous, she knows exactly, she knows where she needs to be, and she knows how she needs to be in order to achieve the things that she needs to achieve. She's not looking to other people for guidance. She's not looking to cultural structures, and she's not looking to patriarchal systems in order to know what's right in the world and what's right within herself. She's perfectly in harmony with the cycles and perfectly in tune and in balance. So depending where she's been hitting in your chart, perhaps she's hit your ascendant, your first house, in which case you would have been feeling this at a very, very deep, vital level. Potentially it could have also been affecting your physicality. For some girls, perhaps they hit, perhaps they became mature during this period. For some guys, perhaps they've really had to think about, just what is this kind of this idea of masculinity? How is it restricting me and restraining me? So anyway, let's move on. So the present now, the conjunction that we have today is telling you, okay, it's okay, light your own path. That's the transformation that's taking place. Illuminate the world for yourself. You really don't need to be bound to these structures. You really do have the right, and you do have the ability, and you do have the essential quality to light your own way. All you have to do is be. You don't need to try to do it. You don't need to push it. You don't need to think about it, overthink it, question it, worry about it. It's there for you. It's within you. And you can light your own way. And so that's a revolutionary idea for a lot of people, and it's quite frightening for a lot of people. But it's perfectly natural. This is what humans are. We are essential beings in this body. We are ultimately and foundationally connected to the universe. And in the future, that's what's going to play out for you as we progress, as Saturn travels through the rest of Capricorn and enters Aquarius. He's going to illuminate a brand new world for you. This Aquarian energy is really lovely. I can't wait until Saturn finds his home there, because Aquarians are just individuals. They're complete individuals. You'll never find one Aquarian that's like another Aquarian. And so this card is telling you just to light your own way, to find the happiness and the joy and the renewed vigor and energy that's coming out of this last 2-year cycle and entering into this new cycle of Aquarian Saturn energy. Okay, so that was the second bundle. And we're going to move on to our third bundle. Strength. The Chariot. And the Empress. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so this Saturnian cycle really has been about moving away from the patriarchy. So we start with strength. Since December 2017, we've been contemplating our strength and how we wield our strength, and in what realms that we wield our strength. This is a beautiful card because it's talking about the strength that we all have within us, but our ability to use it when and if necessary. The most lovely creatures can be the most gigantic, freaky looking things, but the true strength lies in knowing when it's appropriate to use your power, to exert your power, So for you, I would imagine that wherever Saturn is hitting your chart, you've actually had some tension between wanting to exert your strength, exert your dominance, exert your power, but having to withhold it, having to draw it back, and having to actually experience Saturn's boundaries, his limitations, which are perceived limitations. But, you know, is it necessarily a limitation, or is it a you know, is it just a boundary? Is it a permeable barrier? You know, are we keeping something in, or are we keeping something out? That's what Saturn asks us to think about. And if so, is the thing that we are keeping in, is it worth holding in, and is it worth rejecting the other? So this card is just telling you that, yes, you have the strength to keep continuing, but you need to learn to master that strength, because if you just use it with abandon, you're sort of impinging on other people's barriers, on other people's boundaries. So here's the thing, there's a difference between aggression and assertion. Some people just don't understand that you can assert yourself without being aggressive. And that's both the people who are doing it and the people who are perceiving it. So I'd imagine that this is something that you're learning to conquer, or that you've been learning to conquer. How to be assertive without being aggressive, and how to assert yourself without being construed as being aggressive. And that's a tricky path, because you don't control how other people perceive you. You only control what you're putting out there. So perhaps you have had to learn to let go of what you think other people are thinking about you. Did that make sense? I hope so. Okay, so now that we've reached the conjunction, we're powering ahead. We're using what we've learned here, and we're just going full speed ahead. We're moving in a new direction. We're taking our lessons with us, and we're going to conquer something new, which is quite interesting, because we do have this strength here. So this period for you has been a period of learning to control yourself, really. Perhaps this has been hitting your second house, which is your house of objects, the things that you own. It may have been your body. It may have been like you learning how to control your body, in terms of, like, you know, I've got Jupiter in the second house. I can't stop eating. I love food. Oh my God. So maybe you've had this kind of experience. Or maybe, maybe Capricorn is in your... maybe where are we going to go? Maybe he's in your 10th house of career and how others perceive you. So maybe you've been learning how to get along with your co-workers without being seen as being aggressive. Anyway, whatever it is, now you've learned how to harness this energy. You're going to be able to use it in a really productive way, not just for yourself, but for other people. And that's a really nice sort of place to be right now. It's been a good lesson to learn, because obviously you have a lot of energy there. Look at these guys, they're absolutely smashing life. So you really have had to learn in the past 2 years how to put a rein on this, how to rein it in a little bit, just to be on the safe side, because you don't want to be like, you know, just throwing that energy out there left, right and center. And that's really important, because what you're going to have to do with that energy in the future is to be very diplomatic, is to be very grounded, is to be able to be the yin to people's yang. It is to be this kind of wise, nurturing figure that people need to come to. Now, if you hadn't gone through this experience of learning to balance your strength, and to harness it somehow, this could have been a disaster, because you could have had the opportunity to use your strength quite malefically. You could have gotten into areas that were really quite destructive. But now that we're moving forwards, and Saturn's going to move into Aquarius, into this beautiful energy of humanitarianism, communication, eclectic sort of creativity, this has all been a worthwhile process, because from now on into the future, you're going to be asked to, this could actually be at work, this could be a work situation, and I did mention the 10th house, because what I'm feeling is you're going to be called on in the future to somehow be the arbiter of other people's disputes. You might be going into a situation where you're going to be required to use your knowledge and your good sense and your ability to stay balanced and controlled in order to help other people progress and move ahead. So you could actually be in for some kind of career change. And I didn't really want this to get too specific, but that is the kind of vibe that I'm picking up. So if you chose this third bundle, that's potentially what's coming along for you. Okay, so that's it for that reading. I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed doing it. Stay tuned. I will be doing some more readings. I've got one coming up for the eclipse that's happening in a few days' time. That'll be really cool. I might do another bundle one for that. Yeah, so in the meantime, namaste and amor fati. Amor fati, and take care. Bye.